Google. Let's go get him again.
Welcome back to the Robezoid channel. I'm your host, Mark, and welcome to Samplin Samples Sunday. Every Sunday, I sample from my little sample bucket. I go blind and I go like this, and I grab a sample. Now, this is from the brand of Christian Dior. I'm a Christian Dior fanboy. Honestly, I'm not a Chanel guy. Chanel overrated. I think very safe. They're trying too much to chase perfection at some points. They take too long between releases. In the men's aisle, like Bleu de Chanel, come on, it's overplayed. Everybody's looking forward to Bleu de Chanel Elixir in the designer game. I'm not. Come on, move on. No, it's not a real thing, but it probably will be. That's how, I know Chanel. It's taken them 10 years to build it. Okay, shots to Chanel over. Christian Dior is more up my speed. They do try to... they take chances with their fragrances. I like that. Hey, if you want to throw out some stuff discontinued just because it didn't work, sure, I'll snatch it up. And they had this episode with their Prive line that they were trying to be like Chanel. And I'll be honest, that's what they were trying to do. A lot of florals and a lot of inspired buys. And I don't mind that. And they've hit some of them out of the park. Some were flops. But this is that time period where they had heavy florals. And this one was released in that section. This one called Gris Dior. So gray. I had a name change, so it used to be known as Gris Montagne in its previous life, and then it was renamed. They changed the name in 2017, give or take. This was released, Gris Montagne was released in 2013, renamed in 2017, give or take. And the name, I believe, Gris Montagne was based on the name of the avenue that the boutique in Paris was located in. So this is a Prive release that was pushed quite a bit by the brand. I've never seen, and again, I'm not, I don't live in a big place like a Toronto or New York, Paris, whatever. So I don't see a lot of the marketing, but I do see some of it. And I felt like this one was being pushed a lot by the brand, but it never translated within our little fragrance community. And we're not the end-all be-all of fragrances, as many fragrance reviewers would like to think that we're all that in a bag of chips. We're not. We are a very small section of the fragrance community, but we do have some influence of some sort in some buying. But this fragrance, personally, in our fragrance community, didn't really translate. It has its lovers, but it never went full hype mode with a lot of other Christian Dior releases. So I look forward to sniffing this, and this is one of those brands that I absolutely love. I own probably 50 Christian Dior fragrances, a lot of Prives. Love the brand. The Fahrenheit line to the Dior Homme line to Not Sauvage, no. Leather Oud is one of my favorite animalic leather fragrances of all time, among others. So it is a brand that I absolutely love to discover. And funny enough, there's a lot that I haven't discovered. So this is one of those that I think is a big piece of Christian Dior that I haven't checked out. So I'm really looking forward to it. This is a rose-based fragrance. Let's go under the hood. Let's take a look at some stats on this one and move on to what does it smell like. Release date 2013, but with the new name we'll say 2017. We'll go with 2013 because I hear it didn't change, if at all. Concentration eau de parfum, nose François Demachy. Good old Demachy, right? Poor old Demachy. Did some great fragrances at Dior, unfortunately, not really recognized for a lot of the great stuff he has done. Big notes in this particular fragrance. The note breakdown's kind of bare, but this is a rose-based fragrance, and they have a lot in their Prive line, but this one takes the cake. It really does. It really impressed me. And oak moss is in the back end, and jasmine. So we got some florals here. It is a floral fragrance. They say a floral sheep, sure. But you gotta like your florals. So let's get to delving. It is my scent of the day today, but I am going to, this thing's on fumes. I really destroyed this little sample. But a fragrance that I'll be buying in the future. And I'll tell you why. So up top, this is a floral fragrance. So you gotta like your florals. If you're watching this and you don't like florals, get out of here. It is a floral fragrance through and through. It has an uncanny quality up top. that reminds me of some of the best in the game. When I first sniffed this through this little sample, my first sniff, again, I never smelled this fragrance. Off that little sample, the first thing I smelled, I was like, ooh, quality. That was the first thing that came out of this. First thing I typed up in my brief, quality. And it really goes against some of the best in the game. And one of the brands, you got to give kudos to who does it in the designer game, and that is Chanel. Chanel does florals well. They are the best with a capital B in the game. However, because they're so authentic and classy, that's the name of the game with florals, is class. What makes a floral great? To me, authenticity, first of all, but also the best test is how good a floral fragrance can be in the rain. Florals and rain, spring, fall, overcast, they play well together. They play well in the sandbox. Does it smell like class? That's one thing that I really like about florals, and they can class things up, and that's where Chanel got their name from, is their classy fragrance house, because their florals don't smell cheap. Very classy, very clean. And Gris Dior goes in that direction. It really shows it's a classy Prive release. It really is. Off the bat, it smells rich. So off the top, this fragrance starts us off with a mild bergamot note. It gives you that sparkle. It's almost like a sparkling aldehydic feel sometimes. It just brings me to that. And there's obviously some heavy florals in it, so it kind of makes me think of aldehydes. But aldehydes smell like champagne, bubbly, very bright. And it has some of this. The bergamot does give sparkle to fragrances, but it's paired with the central note here of rose. Rose is your backer here. It is going to be your central theme. It is built upon. There's not much else in this. It's a very thin release. That is backed by a really good jasmine note. It's simple, it's straightforward in the opening, but the rose petals are very thin. You can smell the texture of these petals. No joke. You can feel that they're light. The petals are wet. It's not heavy, and it's not a heavy fragrance at all. It shows a bit of a powdery side, but also a jammy side of rose. And you can get either one. You can get a green side of rose, and among others. When I talk about jamminess, and I'm going to get to that, is very thin in this release. There is some jammy rose oud fragrances where the rose really needs to be big and punching and jammy and sweet. This is not it. It comes off clean. It's almost a cosmetic product, not soapy, maybe a little soapy, but perhaps a little chalky, but not too chalky. The jammy quality reminds me of a strawberry, and it's not candied. It's almost cold, like it's been in the fridge, but it's really nicely done. It's not that playful. It is upscale, and it's not that. It's not those thick, jammy, really sweet rose-based fragrances. It's thin. The sweetness is not that playful. It feels like a watered-down, light. I kind of want to say like a Gatorade, but that's not classy at all. But it has a certain hue to it that, maybe like a light purple. I know it has a light purple juice in the real bottles, but it has like that light red, light purple feel to me. Watercolor-esque, yes. It has that gray mauve profile to me with a little bit of that redness on the gray. Really interesting that I'm getting those colors and those textures within this release, and that is a huge sign of an excellent release. I'm always thinking about colors, textures, and if a fragrance shows me that, I feel like it really is well done. And this has that. And again, very thin. The rose, bergamot with the jasmine intertwine so well in this release. There's some green notes here just peeking through just a bit. The oak moss, the patchouli, to give me a thought of a stem. The opening of this release is classy as can be. The rose is crisp. It's well orchestrated. The build of this fragrance is up top is out of this world. It's been a while since I've actually really enjoyed a floral release, just floral. Some of them are too fruity, some of them are there's too much going on. This is very unisex, and I want to say that delicately because a lot of the men out there are going to be like, oh, I don't know about this. If you like some floral fragrances, you know, if you're a fan of iris and rose-based scents and you've tested it, you're in the niche realm, you know what I'm talking about. To the other guys that are just stuck in the men's aisle, stay there. This is one of those fragrances that is built as a piece of art. It really is in that section right now. That's what I'm getting out of this little sample. Like, I'm kicking myself that I got a sample and I just didn't blind buy this thing. Yeah, it's beautiful. Now, in the mid, there isn't much development out of this release. There's not much movement from the top, and it doesn't need to have it. Sometimes simple is best. It warms up a bit here. The mossy and the patchouli qualities come up just a smidge. They're not big, they're not bold. You're not getting some big earthy or some dankness from the patchouli. No, 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 very airy, very transparent, but still giving this fragrance. It warms up, and it warms up some more. Like every little bit of time goes by, it warms up just a little bit. Such a neat trick, but at the same time, the floral is always central. In the back end, it almost feels like, I want to say like it's almost like in the back end of a fragrance, but it's really not. You can hardly see it. I mean, it's almost like it's being, the patchouli and the oak moss is just there, but you can't really tell that it's that. That's where this is going. Really beautiful, beautiful release. So like I said earlier, they're very airy to support the rose. It has some woody components in this back end, again, very thin. I felt some sandalwood in here, smooths it out. They list cedar, but I didn't get much of that. I don't get much of sawdust or anything like that. The warmth, again, is very gradual. I really liked that trick, and it continues to slowly get there, but honestly, it's not the star. It's just a supporting act here, the patchouli and the warmth and all that. It really is out of focus. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Out of focus. The back end is so out of focus. The rose is your central focus. The blend here, outstanding. Perhaps some of the best from Demachy that I've seen as far as florals go. I do have a couple more florals that I purchased, like several of these little samples, because I want to smell the whole Gris Prive line. The ones I missed, I want to smell them. So you're going to see a lot of those in the sampling samples in the coming future. I wanted to start with this one, and I really enjoy what I'm smelling here, and it's making me kind of scared of how many good florals is there going to be. I thought I had them all. I thought I had all the good ones, but apparently not. Overall, is this more feminine than masculine? Yeah. If you ask me, yeah, but I don't try to push genders on any of my fragrance reviews. Really, notes are what attach you to what you like and what you dislike. I really, really believe in that I've had some bad experiences with certain notes, certain things in my life, and it just doesn't matter how good the fragrance is. If something triggers me into something, I can't like that fragrance, unfortunately. So it's really notes more than anything than genders for me. But you really need to like the florals because they are here and they are elegant, they are classical in my personal opinion. It feels older than what it is as far as a release date. Really well constructed, simply a well done fragrance by the house of Gris Dior and their old in-house perfumier, Monsieur Demachy. Now, let's go into seasons, day, night, versatility, and performance. Seasons: spring, spring, spring. Spring, rain, rainy, rain, overcast, doesn't matter. Fall. This is a tweener fragrance. I'm not saying you can't wear it in the summer, you sure can. I'm not saying you can't wear it in the winter. I feel like this for women as a signature scent, this could be like your boring signature scent. I'd be all for that. But spring, rain, 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 tweener seasons, fall and spring. Day or night, I feel like this is more of a daytime scent than a nighttime scent. However, you can dress it up or dress it down. Versatility, high. It's intriguing in a quiet way. I really like that about this release, that, you know, the really intriguing stuff, the really big bold stuff kind of hits the versatility hard, that you can't really wear them. This is a floral that made me want to smell my wrist every single time. And I've met a lot of florals in my day, and not a lot of them can do that. I'm just like, oh, okay. But this, I'm flabbergasted on how well it is, how good it is. So intriguing, in a quiet way. Performance. The performance on here, not crazy. You're going to get longevity 6 to 8 hours, which is good. Below average projection. So this thing isn't a beast on your skin. There's a lot, of course, on the Prive side that has much more performance. But it's not a snoozer. It's just good, I guess. At the end of the day, performance, I'd like a little bit more, but I'm not going to be choosy on this one. So at the end of the day, I don't do much recommending to my female audience. I don't. All 2 of you. I know you're watching, both of you, and I really, you know, I thank you for watching my reviews, because a lot of it is on the men's aisle. But take this from me. This would work really well on a female, and I like darker sets on a female. It just brings more intrigue to me. You know, when a female's wearing like a leather-based set or something with a little bit of spice or whatnot, like an oud or something like that, it just really intrigues me. The fruity floral thing, not so much. And you can call this a fruit. What do they call them? A fruitchuli, because it's fruity and it's patchouli. I don't, yeah, it's not in that realm. It really works well on a female for the spring. Dress it up with a dress, to wearing it casually in the house when it's spring or fall, casually on a walk, even just wearing sweats. It's just one of those that is so well done that I'd recommend it as a soft scent in those tweener months, fall and spring. What a great scent. Like, I am very surprised on how solid this release is. And I know that Dior does quality, but at this point, I am surprised with this one. So at the end of the day, I've been ignoring my Dior florals like a chump. And this is on par with the Chanel floral. And that is a huge compliment to not only Chanel, which I put them in this pedestal as far as their florals go. Nobody can beat them, but here's Dior taking a swing at them. This is a huge compliment to Dior as well, and Demachy. Great nose. You know, it's unfortunate that his name gets dragged in the mud by certain people on YouTube. Doesn't deserve it. Great nose. This is a top-notch release. It's making me looking forward to the other ones. I know there's a whole bunch of other ones that were released later than this one. Florals, and I can't wait to smell them. So if I had to give it a score currently out of 10, one, by the way, because I'm recommending this to my 2 female subscribers, both of you are awesome, by the way, but I'm buying a bottle of this. I want to wear this. So it has some unisex properties, but you gotta like your florals, FYI. Score out of 10, 9. Dead serious, 9. Didn't think this was even going to scratch a 9. Honestly, when I looked at the note breakdown, like, I don't know about this one. No. Yeah, a great 9. High. I absolutely love this. And it's the first floral this year. I don't think there's any other florals this year that I actually want to buy, that I've smelt. So there you have it, the best floral of 2023 for my nose. Absolutely love it. Love it. Love that it's bringing me to textures, colors. It really is just a beautiful scent for spring and fall. Now that you heard my take, I'd love to see yours in the comments below. You love it, you hate it, you don't think it's a 9. You're like, what are you smoking, Mark? I hear you. I'm smoking some gris, some gray apparently. And as always, a greater pour fragrance will make a lasting impression. Choose your floral fragrance wisely. Thanks for watching, YouTube. Have a good one.